We mix our culture with the kingdom.
Yeah, man. It's that new summertime anthem right here. This how we do for the kingdom.
Now we must swag down, boss down, let a minute get the devil out.
We mix our culture with the kingdom. We mix our culture with the kingdom. We mix our culture with the kingdom. Mix it. Mix it. Mix it. Mix it. We mix our culture with the kingdom. We mix our culture with the kingdom.
Yeah, made new, done with the old. I'm a walking lyrical scroll. No manuscript, this a godly script. I see she kills. It's that new summertime.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So, welcome to the culture. Please give yourselves a hand one more time. Yeah. Listen, we have an exciting show for you. This is the second part of our panelists. We're talking about the truth. All right, the truth. That's our thing for just the talk, one-on-one talk, whatever you call it. We just talking. And the reason why we're talking is because we want to spill some truth in reference to, the culture, relationships, religion, all types of things in reference to what's going on in our world today. There's so much going on. Listen, I want you to sit back, relax. When you come back, you're going to hear some really exciting things and just basically some insight on some things. We'll be right back with the culture, all right?
You've been watching CTF TV.
Welcome back to the culture, you guys. Give yourselves a hand. Yeah. So we're back with our panelists, and as I told you, this show is called The Truth. It's the second part of The Truth, all right? My first panelist is Stephen Sherrod.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. My second panelist is Mr. T.W. Suggs.
Thank you for having me.
My last panelist, and not least, is my Brad Butler. The second.
Thank you.
So, you guys, welcome to the culture. I am pleased to have you on, especially just the fact that your presence brings such a strong environment. So, listen, we're going to get into it. Is that cool? Yep. All right, that's cool. So, the first show was more so talking about the culture in reference to the church and young people and how they view certain things with social media. And as you know, there's a lot going on with it more so. And not to be so redundant, but more so when you talk about young people, you're going to talk about more so the same thing because that's exactly what they're going through. My creative director put some questions together. First question is, what are the most critical changes that we must that we must make to face the future? Anyone can answer.
I would say that we need to learn how to adapt.
Okay.
Just because you were used to doing things a certain way does not mean that that's how it's always going to be or how it always should be. So if we are always ever evolving and always willing to adapt and make the necessary adjustments, I don't think we'll run into all the issues that we're running into as of right now.
Wow. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I believe that we need to be exposed to new things or exposed to greater things. Because like for me in particular, I didn't get exposed to new stuff until I was in my mid-20s. So the things that I thought was regular or the things that I thought I could have or could achieve was limited because I didn't see other people achieving more or having more or see their regular. And once I started seeing that I can have better, I can be better, I can know better people, I can become better, that's when I really started growing and moving towards better.
Wow.
But I wasn't exposed until later on in life.
Wow.
Yeah, I would like to piggyback off of what both of these gentlemen mentioned. We need agility, and we also need that exposure. But in addition to agility and exposure, we also need to be fearless. I think that we're not going to be agile. I don't think that we would intentionally place or position ourselves in places where we would have that exposure to new things, unless we were like really fearless, So that would just be something that I would add.
Right. I agree with all three of you. Change is exactly what's happening for us, and it doesn't matter if you don't want to change. We're going to change anyway. Especially with age. I know with age, it's jeez. If you had it told me, I would stay young forever. But can't do that. But things are changing, and change is something that I think that our culture is not used to. So when they see something different, they name it, and then they name it, and after they name it, they put it aside and say this is not what it is. But technically, it's what's coming into, your environment. You can see if you go to North Philly, you're seeing a lot of things changing. Buildings being built, gentrification is like every single, like not just in North Philly. I mean, everywhere you go, you see a lot of things happening. And for our culture, as far as the children is concerned, it's more so like for them, it's another culture shock because they're not used to seeing buildings being built that much. All the construction. So the future has a lot of change in it. Some good and some bad. To me, it's mostly bad. Mostly bad because bad is good and good is bad for our children. So next question. Oh, did everybody go? Okay, cool. What are the common misconceptions that young people have about? That's one. It's two questions in one. How can we combat these misconceptions and communicate more effectively? Anyone?
I would say one of the most common misconceptions is that the young people believe there's nobody that cares about them.
Okay.
There's nobody that really wants to help them. It's nobody that really believes in them.
Right.
And we can combat that with just doing it.
Yeah.
Like if they don't think you believe in them, show them that you believe in them. If they don't think you care about them, show them that you care about them. Like it's real simple. It's not rocket science.
Right.
So if you feel as though they don't have respect, you gotta show them respect. You feel as though they're not going anywhere, you gotta show them where to go.
Right.
And that's all it is they don't think we are here for them. And the only way to combat them thinking that we're not there for them is to be there for them.
Yeah. Anyone else?
A common misconception that I believe a lot of young people have is I think they kind of believe what they see before them.
Right.
From what I've seen, a lot of young people are trying to emulate what they see in mass media, not understanding that a lot of what they're seeing is a lie, a fabrication, and it's also strategic.
Yeah.
Because in many cases, especially young people of color, they are preyed upon, by marketing firms, whomever, to be able to put certain things out to drive their dollar.
Right.
So I think that in reference to how do we combat these things, we have to be willing to show them something different. Again, we have to be intentional. With our connection with young people, we have to show them something different, but also not only be intentional, but we also have to care enough to leave what is familiar to us to be able to dive into their world and understand what they value, understand what's relevant to them.
Wow. Nice.
I'll say a very big common misconception with the youth is that it's not possible for them to live their dreams. Like you ask someone, one of the youth, what do you want to be? And they'll give you a roundabout answer. They'll tell you what they think you want to hear.
Right.
And for me, I'm one of those people who are like, no, tell me the dream you had when you were like in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to be an astronaut, you wanted to be a doctor, you wanted to go to the NFL. Like tell me what you really. I'm one of those people where I'm like, dream big.
Yeah.
Like I'm a firm believer that I want people to dream with your eyes wide open. I want you to live it and feel it and breathe it and never let it go. I tell kids all the time that my imagination is not limited by your reality. So whatever experiences you've had in your life that caused you to be jaded and feel like you can't have this or whatever the case may be, don't bring that to these kids, because these kids are fearless. These kids, they band together, and when they say they want to do something, they get it done, like in a way that we have never seen before.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate for living your dream. I tell people all the time, listen, whatever it is that you want to do, it is not too far-fetched. It is possible. If you can think it, you can have it. So my thing as far as how to combat these things is to continuously speak life into these kids, into these babies every single day, because consistency is key. Right. If you're doing it every now and then, or you're doing it when things are going well, then you run into that huge issue of the lack of consistency. And what happens with the disconnect between the adults and the kids is that when you are around these kids, they're affected very easily when it comes to the moves that you make.
They are.
And they watch you, like I remember you saying before, they watch you from a mile away. So as soon as you make a mistake,
John.
Oh, that was John? That was John? Okay, sorry, John. I want to make sure you get credit for that. So, as soon as they see you make a mistake, they hold you accountable for it.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. You guys were talking, as you were talking, and all of you, but I was, in reference to the misconception, I agree with all of you. You said that our church and C was before us, I believe you guys said, and that's so absolutely correct, because if I see my dad hit my mom, that's what I'm going to see in the street. That's what I'm going to practice in the street. I heard this little boy call this little girl a B. I said, why do you keep calling her that? Because she called me a name. I said, but you keep calling her a B. Then when his father came up, I said, enough said. Because the way he was with his dad, Mr. Bosch, she gave me a lyric sheet to learn the music, and it was just the way he approached his son. I told him that his son was acting up. He was like, "Oh, that's just him." What? He said, "It's all right, because Ms. Bashir, that's how kids are." No, I say kids grow up to be adults, and adults actually grow up to be something that they, was drilled into. So all of you are correct, in reference to the misconception.
The sad part about it is it's like the parents don't think more of the children.
Right.
Like even though most people didn't have a steady household, there was somebody that believed in them in some way. They really thought, they just like, oh, this is the one. Like, even if the rest of them ain't doing it, this is the one that can do it. This is the one that's going to make it. This is the one that's going to achieve it. Whereas now, a lot of the parents are just like, oh man, I don't know what to do with this child. I don't know what to do with their own, with the person that they can mold. It's as if they forgot that the things you do and the things you don't do will affect that child. So if you want the child to become better or become greater, you have to do something or inspire them to become better or to become greater. If you tell the child the same thing over and over and tell them how bad they are or how many mistakes they make, what you think the child going to do? Make more mistakes, become badder, become worse. And that's all it is. It's like what you forget that you can change, you can mold the child, you can get them to the next level, you can get them to become someone that they might not even thought that they could become themselves. That's even what I do with my organization called Running Glass, which means to move forward towards your vision. My purpose is to help you find their greatest self.
Right.
I'm not trying to make them become anything. I'm not trying to make them do anything.
Right.
But I want you to become your greatest self. And a lot of parents forget that they have that power.
Yeah. Do you guys recall the movie Don't Be a Menace While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood? Do you recall the movie? Well, there's a part on it where the guy was like, he's like, happy birthday. He said, for me? Yeah. Happy birthday for me? Yeah. So when he blew it, he got shot. I thought about that. It's funny, but it's not. Only because of the fact that this is what the producers, the Wayne brothers, are portraying. This is how we are portrayed in the society. We never make it past a certain age, or we never make it to. I'm sorry. We never make it to college. And that's, to me, that's sickening. And I mean, God. I'm not trying to say anything about a president bad, but because I'm really cautious about even saying something about him because he's still a leader. So I would say that even leaders mess up, and even leaders don't know how to be leaders. And my mother always taught me, however a household is, that's however the head is. You go into a church, more so however the church is, that's how the head is. If the church is reading the word, they're Bible believers, and spirit-filled people, that's how the pastor is, more so. And I never really grasped that until I got older and started saying, I was like, wow. I said, they shout a whole lot in this church. No wonder the pastor's shouting. So, and there's nothing wrong with it, but then again, it is, because it's like, it doesn't, you're not sitting down learning anything. And our children, they just know to do that. It was something that was going on. Went to a concert, and the it was I guess a 7-year-old boy, he was shouting. And I saw a lot of people, go ahead, he's shouting. And I'm sitting back, saying to myself, like, no, he's not. Because he's imitating something he saw. And most of the times they imitate it, you know. So you guys are absolutely correct with what you brought out. All right, so our next question is, do you believe having a relationship with God is more important than being religious? This word right here is so big.
All right, so
All right.
this one's pretty near and dear to me because I did not grow up in the church.
Okay.
I found God just kind of going through my life and going through the ups and downs and facing forms of adversity. Now, I always believed in God, but I never felt comfortable in a church because I didn't know the stories. You know, when people would come up to me and say, hey, do you know the story of? And I'm I'm serious. I did.
No.
Did you know that you're not supposed to wear or? Nobody told me that. Did you know today was communion? What's communion? Like what? Easter? Okay. I just know I'm supposed to wear a suit today. Like that was my thing. I was living in triple black. So triple black is when you don't know that you don't know that you don't know. And the crazy thing about that is when you do find out, you have that aha moment. And it's one of those things where you're like, I never want to go back to not knowing. So I always knew of God, and I always felt that there was a presence of God, but I didn't have the religious aspect to connect to it that would give me content so that when I speak, I can speak with power and I can speak with truth. So literally it would just be me saying, oh, I believe in God. I know that God is there. Whereas with now, it's that I know for a fact God has a light shining on my life. He showed me what my gift is. He showed me what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm now a man with purpose. He gave me a wife, you know, who was God-fearing as well. So all those things coming together, I didn't do that on my own. It came from God. But because of the fact that I can now go back and look at the Word, I can tie it all together. And now it all makes sense. It comes together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
I do believe having a relationship with God is more important than being religious. I think that having a relationship with God allows you to be that unicorn, right? Religion says this is who you have to be, this is how you have to be, which is probably why a lot of pastors are depressed, which is why a lot of pastors go through so much behind closed doors, and because they feel like they have to posture because of religion. But when you get to that place of relationship is honestly just that transparency. Where this is where I really am. This is who I really am. Despite what you think about my reality, this is where it is right now. And I think that when we're honest with ourselves and when we're honest with God, that's what takes the relationship even further. Like if you even look at when God was looking for Adam, you know, when Adam messed up, when they ate the fruit and he hid, he said, Adam, where are you? Where are you? I'm not talking about your location. You were supposed to be close in a relationship. You're supposed to be close in fellowship. You are missing out of this relationship right now. Where are you? Why can't I sense you? And I believe that you have a lot of people who are religious that God can't sense. You have a lot of people, almost like the woman with the issue of blood. Jesus was like, there's so many people around me that it's crushing me. But there's somebody who just reached out and touched the hem. There's that relationship right there. I could feel that more so than I can feel everybody crushing me.
The crazy part, I'm the opposite of Brad. I grew up in church. I was in church every day. I was there for everything. I was doing everything. I knew verses and everything. But the thing about it is I was playing church. So I was in all the plays. I was reading the scripture, reading the announcements. They was, oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's so like I was so able to do it that every time I did the stuff that they asked me to do, they didn't look at the stuff I was doing outside of the church. They didn't pay attention
of course not.
They didn't pay attention to the stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. And it was I didn't come to like really have a connection with God until probably till I was like 15 or 16. And when I was somewhere I shouldn't have been, doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing, and I fell asleep, and a friend of mine had a gun, and
Wow.
he's laying there with the gun in his hand, and the gun went off. The gun went off, and it basically was pointed at me, and it hit my like buttocks, but it went through my pants and through my drawers. So you saw the hole through my pants and through my drawers, but it wasn't through my skin.
Wow.
And when that happened, it was just like, yo, like, oh, like, what was that? Like, I should be at the hospital or something.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like, all right, I know I got to start doing something different. So now when I learn the scriptures, I'm really learning the scriptures now. Now when I'm singing the songs, I'm really singing the songs now.
Yeah.
Now when I'm in the plays, I'm not just in the plays because I know that the pastor going to give me $20 or that everybody's going to clap for me. I'm in the plays because God wants me to be in the play.
Right.
God wants me to let people know that he speaks through me, that he is here for all of us, and that he's willing to help us and get us out of situations that we put ourselves in.
Wow. I like that.
We found out they were sliding 20s.
Listen, this is so good. Listen, but we got to take a break, and we'll be right back, okay? Welcome back to the culture with my panelists. So listen, you guys. As we was going on, we was talking about in reference to misconceptions and different things like that with young people, even ourselves more so. I'm going to get to this question, but my question that I want to have for you guys is: I know this woman. She's a woman, and she just had a baby. So the thing that happened with her was she was on the choir. She doesn't go to my church. She goes to another church, and she had the baby out of wedlock. And they told her that she couldn't sing anymore because, she was, pregnant, different things like that. She was the main singer, like the main lead of that church, So she was like, Basha, I can't believe they just set me down. And I asked her, I said, why? She said, because I was pregnant. So she asked me, she said, what can I do? What can I talk? How can I convince the pastor to let me back on the choir? I said, this is all I said to her. I said, when I'm strong, I have to go, I have to bear the infirmities of the weak. Not only that, what I have to do is, I believe Christ was telling Peter, when you're saved, when you are cool, go and help your brother, go, make sure he, And I had told her, I said, the problem with us is that we don't know how to restore. Restoration does not mean you're restored. Restoration is a process. So I said, if they were smart, they will restore you, back to that position, just kind of like off and on, like put you, and she's like, well, no, they just want me off completely. What would you say to that young lady? I hope I stuck you. Get your step.
I don't know. That's tough. There's a lot of variables to it. Like I don't necessarily agree with taking her off of the choir because she had a gift that God gave her, and who are we to tell her that she can no longer use that gift for what the purpose was meant for? Right. I don't care what she did or what happened. We all make mistakes.
Right.
So I believe you really do have to come as you are. You have to accept people where they're at.
Right.
Because that's a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because you start pushing people away, and you don't know what else that person is dealing with.
Well, let me just kind of give you real quick, like you guys. She's in ministry. She goes to the church. She's saved. She goes to the church. She's in ministry thick. To the point where they know her really well. She messed up. And you know what? I won't even say she messed up. The reason why I don't like that word is because we're supposed to. So we can actually learn from it. Those that don't even learn from it, they still got to learn from not learning from it. And I said it on another show that when we go into dark places, that's because the Bible says the steps of a good man are ordered. So if I choose to go into a dark place, God already knew that I was going to go in that dark place. Like this woman, I had told her, I said, God already knew you was going to have a baby. He knew that you were going to get with the fella and y'all had a baby. he knew that this was going to come about. So I just wanted to give you that, back, So, but she's in ministry now.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you got to be careful if you're in the leadership roles,
Right.
because you got to lead by example. And I would always try to say this, that I try to put myself in other people's shoes.
Right.
And I would want people to treat me the way that I would want, to be treated if I was in that situation.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I think about, like, my sister. My sister, she had her baby when she got pregnant when she was 17. So thinking about her and what she went through and all the forms of adversity and ups and downs that she had to deal with, I couldn't shun my sister. So
Right.
why would I do that to someone else who just as much needs that love and and support?
Right.
I think the church is really good at traumatizing people, which is one of the reasons why nobody really wants to go. The church really has to do better. That's the stuff that you did way back in Grandma Day.
Yeah.
And not condoning anything, because wisdom says that there has to be a balance. You're a
Absolutely.
leader,
Absolutely.
so there is a place of accountability.
Absolutely.
But on the same side, where is the church wrapping her in love right now?
Yeah.
Because if she is where you said she is, ministerially and has that that relationship with God, God has already dealt with her.
Absolutely.
So it's the church's responsibility to go ahead and cover. Like, even when you think about if we go back to Adam and Eve, they try to cover themselves, but God said, "You know what? I got you. I'm gonna cover you."
Yeah.
He put skins on them.
Yeah.
To cover them. There were consequences, but there was also covering.
Right.
And I think that the church, we don't do a good job at covering people, at shielding people, at helping people. It's almost like, if we love you as long as you fit into this box.
Wow.
But the moment you no longer fit there, the moment you look like you're coloring outside the lines, or the moment you look like you're coloring with the wrong crayon, then, we're just going to rip off the whole page. And that's a problem. That's why in the church you don't see a lot of transgender. That's why in the church you don't see a lot of gay people. That's why in the church you don't see the porn stars. That's why that's where they need to be. But
they need Christ too.
Because they need Christ
They need Christ too.
I saw a T-shirt the other day that I thought was amazing, and I will probably wear it. But it says that God loves porn stars. But what I would do is I would put the scripture under it where I would put the scripture under it where Jesus spoke to the woman who had many husbands or had many partners.
Don't edit that part.
Because God loves them.
Right.
God loves them.
Yes, he does.
He brings them in. He doesn't condone. There was definitely, okay, daughter, you need to change this up real quick. Right. But guess what? I love you. Come close.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, look, they just said a bunch of things. Some phenomenal. First of all, you crazy. It's crazy. But the only thing about it is this: like all sins are equal. Like there's no big sin and small sins and things like that. It even says the thought of sinning is a sin.
Yes.
So the only problem is that what she did is you can see outwardly.
Yeah.
And she's being judged because you can
How
see
about
the
that?
bad choice that she
How
made.
about that? How about
Whereas most of the people who's judging her, they done made sins, but you just can't see the fruit of it.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
And they shouldn't, not necessarily that I'm not saying she should stay on or they should put her off. It's their church and their choice. But the thing about it is, though, you don't know if she's supposed to go through what she's going through just to be an example to that other girl in the church to not do this, to not go through this, to not make these decisions like I made. You might need to have up there give a testimonial like, look, I did this, that, and the other. That's how I got here.
Yeah.
And maybe she can be the example or the light so that now you ain't got 20 girls in the church that's
Hey,
pregnant.
all y'all pregnant?
But if you take away the person after they make their not mistake or after they make their bad choice, nobody learns from their bad choice.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I didn't know that you had problems with whatever you had problems with, it's more likely that I'm gonna walk in them steps. I'm gonna fall where you fell only because you not up there letting me know that you fell there.
Yeah.
And that's what the church does a lot. They take away the person that did it as if they are the evil one. But sometimes their falls need to be the example so that nobody else going to fall in that hole or fall into that pit.
You know what? Even with men, we see more so a lot of even young men, 18, 17. We see them not in church, and I think we was talking about the misconception. Because they see that, oh no, I don't want to be in church because that's too girly. I'll let my sister go, my mom go all the time. And you hear it. But we've done that. We've done that more so. We've told them basically because I saw a young brother telling his son, "You better not cry," but he's going to cry without you. When he goes in the corner, he's going to cry more so. He's going to sneak. You should never have to sneak to cry. So he's gonna sneak to cry, when he's hurt, because I was like, you good? He's like, yeah, but I got to wipe my face because my dad gonna come. That broke my heart because I said, you mean to tell me you can't cry in front of your dad about what's going on with you? I mean, he's a little boy, so young people are impressionable. So my thing is, it's like if Tommy took his toy, or Raheem took his toy, something like that, he gonna be upset about that. You take my money, I'm gonna be upset about that. So it's a little different with me or you, but if you take his toy that he was playing with, he gonna be upset and he gonna start crying like he took my toy. Why are you crying? Because he took my toy. Don't be crying over that. So the thing is, with men more so in the church, we have women. They can do it all day. I love you, sister. I love you too. You won't call me. I think so, but I'm gonna call you. But it's more so they for some reason God has it's a way. God deals with them in a different way. Even younger females. You say a women conference, they are packed. Women retreat, they're packed. Men, you got like 4 or 5 of them. Like, so what you doing, brother? Oh, I was watching the game the other day, but Jesus is good. So what we reading today? And I ain't gonna lie. Some of the young brothers at our church, we had a men's fellowship. My pastor said you wasn't there. I said because it's corny, and he was like, "What you mean it's corny?" I said, "You only have 4 men there, more so. One is really old." And I said, when he talks to young people, what is he going to really relate to? I mean, we do need the older. We do need the elder. However, he's always sleeping on the pulpit. So it's like, here's my thing. What is he really going to tell him? Because he always sleeping on the pulpit. He's like, well, yeah, but he's still a deacon. True, but he still sleep. So the thing is, it's like, if I go to the men's conference, I know he's going to fall asleep. Brother, if I get married, how do I resolve an issue with my wife? And that's going to be him. But I don't want that. So I think that the church has done, let me rephrase that. We say in the church, I won't say it's the church because Jesus said, upon this rock, I'll build my church. So I won't say this church. I would say it's the people, some of the people in the church. Because when my pastor said it Sunday, when you get a church, you're going to get a whole lot of different types of people. But the wheat and the tare, you can't really tell them apart. But if you kind of look with a scope, you can say, you know what, that's the tear right there. And I believe that's why God said, let them go together, and when I come. But the thing is, we're in this place where we just have to more so be there for our young boys more so, even our young girls more so. But I think they're covered in a way because they have a lot of older women. We just suffering, So listen, we're gonna go to a quick break and we'll be right back. All right.
You've been listening to Catch the Fire TV, CTF TV, a place where gospel and God's word is heard.
Welcome back to the culture, and I'm so glad to come back with my fine panelists. So real quick, the question is really answers a whole lot more so, but I want to ask you guys, what particular advice can you give to a young person more so, especially if let me kind of like, go into it real quick. if there are, okay, as we talked about with the young people, like we're young people, so we go through most of the times what they go through. So for us, more so, I'm a person where if I'm by myself, most of the time I'm by myself anyway, but if I'm by myself, I'm thinking of why I'm here. And a lot of people think that, a lot of young people, adults think that, why am I here? And young people the most, because they can't, a young person, if they can't shoot, get the ball through the hoop, that crushes their whole day. So to them, they'll go home and say, why am I here? So if you can talk to a young person, because they'll be watching, what would you answer and say in reference to why are they here? More so, because they will say, why am I here?
The first thing I would tell them is to learn from your mistakes, but double learn from other people's mistakes.
That's right. That's right.
So it's not that you lose when you don't get what it is that you wanted.
Right.
It's a time for you to learn.
Right.
Because you're either learning how not to do it again, or you're learning what you're missing so that you won't have it happen to you again. And that's what they need to do, is figure out how to learn from your mistakes. But especially when somebody else falls, you learn that, okay, he fell there. Like I said earlier, it's a hole there.
Yeah.
He fell there. I don't have to fall in the hole because he already fell in the hole.
Right.
So I know to go around the hole. I know not to be around certain people. I know not to be involved in certain things because I already see the results that other people have shown me that come from making those decisions,
right,
or come from following those people or being in those certain crowds. Like me personally, all my family was doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing.
Okay.
I learned from them and their mistakes,
Yeah.
and seeing them go in and out of jail, seeing them be loved by everybody, then be treated like they was nothing. I seen all of the ups and downs, and I decided, like, I'm not going to follow their footsteps because nothing good comes out of it, because even the best of times don't even compare to the worst of times that they went through.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for me to have to go through it too after I already saw them go through it. So I made a different choice. I started hanging around different people.
Yeah.
I started going different places. I expanded my mind by learning from my mistakes,
Yeah,
and learning from other people's mistakes.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
I think that in today's culture, I think we put too much pressure on young people and ourselves to hurry up and identify a purpose, to hurry up and identify, okay, what do you want to do, when you grow up, and
Yeah.
hurry up and identify why you're here.
And they're like 7.
Exactly. Okay, what you good at? Here's the basketball. All right, no, you can't shoot. Okay, well, here's the crayon. Go ahead. Oh, you can't draw. It's like a lot of pressure. My advice to a young person, not just young people, but even the adults, because a lot of times we force ourselves into this mold because we're trying to hurry up and be identified. No one wants to go through a process of not having a definition just yet. And you have to be willing to go through that process long enough until your definition comes. And definition doesn't come overnight. It's as you live, as you experience, you're starting to become more defined. Your purpose becomes, you start to see the contrast. You start to see the difference in colors between, okay, when 3 years ago, I thought that was green, but it's really red, So my advice would be, enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Take your time.
Take it all in. As a matter of fact, in Ecclesiastes, it speaks about it tells a young person. It says, enjoy your youth.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. It even says, take it all in.
Yeah.
But don't forget your Lord. Don't forget the Lord.
Yeah.
So take it all in. Enjoy it. Take your time. You don't have to know everything right now. You don't have to hurry up and be this adult right now. Go ahead and enjoy what it means to have strength, to have youth, to be an explorer. Dive deep into yourself. Dive deep into, what really makes you happy,
Right.
what makes you cry, what don't you like. And as you live and as not only as you live, but as you live in Christ, he'll go ahead and help bring about the definition. He'll go ahead and help bring about the path that you're supposed to walk on.
Wow, love it.
I feel like they said a lot of the things that I was already thinking, but I felt like when I was younger, I was like a jack of all trades and a master of none, and because of that, I felt like I had no purpose, and I felt like I was expandable. I didn't mean much. It's like, okay, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, but I'm not great, and there's nothing that people can pinpoint and say, Brad, this is your gift, and this is what what you do in life, and this is what you're meant to do, and this is your purpose, and you're special. Right. And for me, I struggled with that for many, many years. It wasn't until my mid-20s that I realized that my gift was speaking. And because of that, when I was in school, I was in special ed classes, and on my IEP, it said that Brad Butler is not capable of verbalizing his thoughts. Wow. So I never thought that it was possible for me to speak.
Wow.
I never thought that was possible. So what I want to say is the best advice that I could probably give to our younger generation is take the labels off. Don't allow anybody to put the labels on you, including yourself. If you try to put a label on yourself saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, take the label off, because you never know what you are capable of doing unless you try.
Yeah.
So a teacher asked me many, many times, Brad, I'd like you to come speak in this school and talk to these kids. And I kept saying no because I didn't believe it. I still had that label attached on my forehead that said that Brad is not capable of speaking, that Brad is a special ed student, even though I'd already gotten 2 college degrees.
Wow.
I still felt like I had that label
I was a
placed on
special
me.
ed too, brother. How you doing?
Right? It was rough.
Three students in the class of me, 4 make 4.
Listen, it was rough, wasn't it?
Yes, it was rough.
Yeah, right.
But I knew how to read and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was told I didn't.
Okay. See, my thing was I knew that.
We had fun though. We had fun.
Okay.
We always got cupcakes and stuff like that. Well, I'm trying to tell you, our class we would laugh at, but we always got the food.
Now special ed classes and sugar don't mix.
It didn't. It don't now. But back then, it was okay. It was okay. Plus, I had a crush on my teacher. Her name was Miss Johnson.
I had not one of them. They didn't say the best for last. So, on a serious note, if you focus on blocking out the noise, and taking the labels off of you, it gives you the ability to step into any situation and feel like, let's see what happens. Yeah. Let the cards fall where they may. Like, I'll find out who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing after I go through the experience, not before.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. As far as imagination, we're gonna go out in a few, but it's serious, but it's also funny. Okay, my teacher had a show and tell. Did I tell this already? I don't think I did. But my teacher had a show. I told it to him, but no. But Antoine knows. He rolled his eye because he's like, but we had show and tell. So back then, my mom ain't had no money like that, So I was like, okay, I said, I prayed and I asked God. I said, God, I need something for show and tell. And won't he answer prayer? And he just did. So I told my brother, I said, can you give me something? So he's like, no, I don't got nothing. So I said, what about the blow dryer? He said, blow dryer? Why would you sell blow dryers in school? That's stupid. So I said, no, it's not stupid. He said, all you do is turn it on and just blow dry your hair. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to take that. So, true story. I'm on a step, and I see this little thing trying to crawl up on the next step. It was a baby mouse. But I didn't know it was a baby mouse, okay? So I thought it was a hamster. I did. I thought it was a hamster. So that's my imagination. But it wasn't really my imagination. It was what I really thought it was. I had a shoebox. I stole one of my mom's shoeboxes, and I put it in the box. And I said, "Oh, look at it!" And then I went in the refrigerator. I got some carrots, and it was kind of like burnt carrots, like because my mom, they wouldn't say carrots like that. So it was carrots, and then I made some bread. I put crumbled the bread and stuff like that, and he was just sat there. He ain't eat it yet, so I thought he was sick. But I put him in the box or whatever. I put holes in the box. Next day I went there, You know, I said, Mr. Power, I got a treat. You know, I got my show and tell. I actually got a pet. She said, really? Don't nobody have a pet? Only you. And she said, all right, boss, she gonna come out show his. I opened the box. She said, little Jesus, we gotta call your mom because that's not show and tell. So I was like, what's up? You know, what is it? She said, that's a mouse, honey. And I was like, no, it's not. It's a hamster. It's a hamster. She said, no, that's a mouse. She said, we don't have mouses in the school. I said, so when I was little, I got, you know, my mom, of course my mom was my behind, but yeah, because she's like, they're going to think we got mouses. We do because I got one in the house. but however, my imagination was so broad. So kids' imaginations are so big, and if we actually feel it the right way, they'll rock out. They'll rock out. They'll rock out. So I had to go out with that. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back with the final thought. All right? Welcome back to the culture. So listen, we usually do a final thought, and I'm going to ask you guys to give a final thought. So the final thought that I would ask you to elaborate on, just really quickly so we can get out. A purpose. How would you, a purpose. Okay, for instance, if I'm going to give you the basketball dreamer, what would you say to him? You, I'm going to give you the singer, okay? And you, I'm going to give you the artist as far as painting, more so. 5 years old, more so, you see them. How would you actually get them more so? What would you say to them to make sure that they stay in that type of feeling? Not feel, well, you feel, because I think whoever you hang around more, that's who you're going to become. So if they hang around the basketball, people playing basketball, the singer, you know, the artist, what would you say?
Well, to the young basketball player, I would just tell them to look more at the fundamentals. Look at the who you become, not necessarily making a shot.
Right.
So you got to understand, like, to really become a basketball player, you really got to sacrifice some time.
Yes,
you really got to practice and practice and practice. You really got to work on the areas that you're not strong at. You really got to work on doing things that you might not have been able to do when you first started.
Right.
So don't just only play basketball. Allow that to pour over into the rest of your life too. So if there's any area or anything that you're going through, just know that you got to work on it. Know that you got to become better. And then the good thing about it is, once you work on the fundamentals and you get what you're supposed to get and you do what you're supposed to do, you'll make the shots. Yeah. You'll stop the other team. You'll win the games and things like that. But if you're only worrying about making the shots or stopping the other team or winning the games, you'll miss out on so much more. And you might never make the shot, win the game, or stop the other team. But if you worry about the ones and twos of the things that you're going to learn, and you have to learn, and the teamwork, and believing in other people, and believing in yourself, that right there is going to make you win at the game called life. So yeah, you're going to win some basketball games. You're going to learn how to be like Kobe, to be like LeBron, to be like them. But also what you're going to do is you're going to win in life. You're going to understand that behind the scenes, Kobe is in the gym. Behind the scenes, LeBron is looking at film. Behind the scenes, Michael Jordan just wouldn't quit, wouldn't give up. So those are the things that you need to focus on. Be like Jordan and don't give up. Be like LeBron and look at the film. See the mistakes and stuff that I keep talking about mistakes. See what other people are doing and how they felt or how they got better and learn from that. And also be like Kobe. Be the last person in the gym. Be the first person there. Be the one to do the stuff that nobody else might not be doing, or you might not even see where it's really going to take you. But once you get to the big game and have to take the big shot, it's easy to do once you done already took a lot of shots. You done already practiced a lot. And that's what I would tell them.
Love it.
I would tell the young singer, a wrong note doesn't mean that you can't sing. A wrong note is a part of the process.
Right.
Be okay with the process. Give yourself some room to make the mistakes.
That's right.
And again, a wrong note doesn't mean that you can't sing. Also, be dedicated. You know, keep going, keep singing. But lastly, I would encourage the young singer to find your voice.
Yeah.
You don't have to sound like this
That's
person.
right.
You
That's
don't
right.
have to sound like that person. Who are you?
You're right.
What genre interests you? You know, just because the lower hanging fruit in our communities may be R&B and hip hop, you may want to do opera.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and sing. My great grandmother was an opera singer. You know, so go ahead. You know, so keep singing. Wrong notes don't mean that you can't sing. It's a part of the process, and also find your voice.
Like it.
Also, a black person has the #1 country song right now.
Hey.
Oh, that's right.
So for the young artists, what I would say to the young artists is that your mind is the paintbrush and the world is your canvas.
Wow.
On top of that, carry God in everything that you do. I didn't really start to develop and speak with confidence and really start to integrate my creative abilities with my ability to speak until I started to submit. And I literally had one of those moments where I just had a prayer and I said, God, listen, just use me as your vehicle. And just allow me to do whatever it is that you want me to do every time I'm about to go speak, whether it's a panel or a keynote event, whatever the case may be. And it doesn't matter how much I'm getting paid or if it's a free event. It's the same prayer every time.
That's right.
God, just use my gift for your work.
Right.
I said this prayer to you a long time ago, and it has not changed, and I refuse to change it because it's worked for me.
Right.
And I'm just going. I'm going the way that you want me to go. Whatever it is you want me to do, whatever adversity you want me to face,
Right.
because I know that it's something important. It's something I'm supposed to get from it. So if you're a young artist out there, just take that with you with everything that you do. Every stroke of the brush on the canvas is purposeful.
Wow.
There is no mistake. There literally is no mistake. It was meant to happen. So if you think, oh man, I meant to use yellow. No, you didn't. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yep.
It's fine.
Yep.
And you don't have to throw the canvas away.
That's right. That's right.
You don't. It's perfect. It's fine. Just the way that it is. Because for you, it might not seem like it's something special, but to somebody else, that might be the greatest piece
That's
of
right.
art that they've ever seen in their life, and they've been waiting their entire life to see it.
Like it. So before we get out of here, I like your shirt.
Oh,
I mean your
my jacket?
jacket and your. Where's it from?
Oh, it's my logo from my company.
What's your name?
Brad Butler II and Associates.
Like it. How long have you been in it?
Oh man, I've probably only been in business for probably a little over a year.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
this is just the brand that I wear as far as when I speak. I'm a speaker, so
Right.
I speak at schools and events, and I do some corporate work as well. And I'm just big on branding. So anytime you see me, you'll always see me in all black or a little bit of white. And I adopted the monotonous wardrobe because I never have to worry about what I'm wearing. It's the last thing on my mind.
I like that. And you're a poet, right?
I am poet and a storyteller. Stage name T.W. Suggs. Full name is Tommy Suggs II.
All these seconds.
All these seconds.
I'm just one.
Don't try to use it now.
I'm trying. Yeah, don't be about
Who's
your
that?
hope the second.
Don't try to use it now. You see, I'm using it.
Yeah, so that's what I do.
Okay. And
Sure, I almost was the second. I got the same first and last name, but not the middle though. So do I count? But I do youth events. Like I give the youth an opportunity to showcase their businesses, to showcase their talents, and I also allow them to have a platform to let people know who they are, what it is they do, how they got started, who's helping them, and also how they can help other people too. And I also link them up with mentors who work in the field or who even have businesses in the area that they would like to get into. So my business is called Running Glasses LLC.
Wow, nice. All right, so we're about to get out of here. And remember, my final word is: a mouse is not a hamster. A hamster is not a mouse. Know the difference. God bless y'all. Thank you for coming to the culture. Come on, give yourself a hand. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much for coming.
You've been watching CTF TV.